Okay, not a whole bunch of salt, just a little bit of salt. So this is a parasite. Okay, so I imagine like a little wormy thing, okay? And what it does is it attaches to the fish and it kind of burrows in a little bit and then starts feeding off the fish's blood supply, I guess. And it creates this little shell on top of it to protect itself, like a coating. And that little white dot you see on the fish is like the encapsulated parasite. Pretty gross, right? And then after a few days, it all depends on the temperature of the water. If it's warm enough, this only takes 1 day for this whole thing to happen. But if the water's colder, then this might take a week to happen. So it eats, right? It's feeding. And then it drops off. Okay, it drops to the ground. And then when it gets to the ground, okay, so when it breaks out of that thing, right, it's not like a little white dot falling to the ground. It's the parasite that falls to the bottom. Then once it gets down here, it creates another shell around itself to protect it, and then it duplicates. And one becomes anywhere from 20 to like 50. And that takes a few hours. It's pretty gross stuff, right? Is it making you itchy? That's how I felt. So like within a few hours, this one guy becomes, 20 to 50 of them, and they all break out. And they all go swimming looking for fish. Now you can't see them in the tank. Like you can't see them. At least I can't see them. All you can see is the white dots. So now all these guys are coming out, right, and they're looking for fish. And so when I went to go look at her fish tank, like she has 8 fish in there, so all but two had white dots like on them. And some of them were like pretty covered, some of them weren't. And this all happened like in a few days, right? But does it make sense how fast this can happen? Like if one becomes like 50 and then each one of those spends a day up there and it comes down and becomes like 50 again, right? Crazy. So this nice little cycle, right? So she's freaking out, Daddy. She has one favorite fish. That's it. She's like, I don't care if they all die, if this one lives, And so I go and I try and quarantine this fish. I'm up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday or Friday night trying to save her fish. I make it go into shock. I almost lost it. Anyway, okay. So how is this related to math, right? So I talked to the pet shop guy. The problem was I brought home a fish from PetSmart. Okay, that was the problem. I should have medicated it before I put it in the tank. My fault. All right, so what do? There's a medicine you put in the water, all right? And this medicine, what it does is it does not kill the parasite when it's on the fish because it's covered, it's encapsulated, it's safe. It doesn't kill it when it's down here. It kills it when it's dropping or when it's swimming to go look for the fish. So it's just a medicine, you put it in the water, you mix it in there, and it's in the water, and as they're swimming, it kills them. Make sense? Okay. You have to be very careful with this medicine, because if you don't do enough, you won't kill it, and if you do too much, you'll kill your fish. All right? So it has very specific instructions. It says on it, 5 milliliters per gallon. Every 24 hours. All right? 5 milliliters per gallon. Now, when I bought my daughter's fish tank, here's her fish tank. When I bought it, they told me it was a 20-gallon tank. All right? I don't want to kill my daughter's fish, but I want to kill these guys, right? I don't believe that that's a 20-gallon tank. Like, that's what they say it is, but I don't believe it, okay? So I go and measure it. And I measure like with a tape measure, I measure this, and I measure, the water level doesn't go all the way to the top, right? It goes like this, comes over here, there's my water level in there. I measure the water level, try and account for the gravel and stuff, and there are certain things in the fish tank, like rocks and things like that. So I try and account, and I do a measurement, and I'm a math person, so I'm, this stuff doesn't bother me to do this. I calculate her tank to be 16.35 gallons. All right? How much do I put in? So this is a proportion. This is the exact thing we just did, right? This is the exact problem that we just did. How much medicine did I need to put in that tank every 24 hours? So let's do a calculation. What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I'm looking for here? How much medicine, right? How much medicine? I have gallons. Now, this right here, 5 milliliters, I can put equals 1 gallon. I'll put gal for gallon, okay? That's my equivalence. I can create two proportions from that. One of them could be milliliters over gallons, or the other one could be gallons over milliliters. Which one should I use? It depends on what I'm looking for. Am I looking for gallons? No, I know how many gallons are in tank. I'm looking for milliliters, aren't I? So I should take this and I should do 5 ml over 1 gallon equals ml over gallon here. So this right here came from just dividing that over there, right? Just taking that and dividing it over. Now, I know 16.35, don't I? And now, I'm looking for x. So I multiply both sides by 16.35 gallons. 16.35 gallons. That all goes away. And that should be it. So someone calculate that? Oh, why am I using my phone? Anyone get that? All right, not all at one time, please. 16, y'all don't care about the fish, do you? 81.75. That something doesn't seem right here. 81.75 milliliters. All right, equals X. Okay, I realize what it is. I said this wrong. It's actually per 10 gallons. Okay, but that doesn't matter. If the medicine was 5 milliliters per gallon, this is what we would do. All right? But in reality, it's 10. But who cares? Uh-oh, her fish are all dead. No. So that's it. Now, if you had followed the manufacturer, right, and you did 5 milliliters per gallon, and you assume that was a 20-gallon tank, you'd be putting how many milliliters in there? You'd be putting 100, right? We're talking about 20 milliliters. So we're talking about a huge 20. Basically, like I would have been putting 20% more in there than I needed to be and potentially wiping out her fish, which is, my brother had the same thing happen in his daughter's fish tank, and he's like, yeah, we lost them all. He's like, I think the medicine killed them. And I was like, he probably didn't. Yeah, he probably didn't do the math. He probably just. So anyway, yeah. We're still treating. You have to treat for like a week. You have to every day because you have to stop that cycle. So it's a mess. It did, yes, and it's actually the only one that still kind of has some on it right now. So, but they're all acting pretty normal and whatever. But at least she's had some time to prepare herself for the idea that they might die, instead of like. Yeah, Friday night I was freaking out because, like I said, I was trying to save her fish, so I put it in a separate tank and I put it into shock, and it was just like not moving. So I was afraid she's going to wake up in the next morning and be like, how are the fish? I'm like, the only one that's dead, honey, is the one you didn't want to die. It would have been my fault. Okay, let's talk about the exam quickly. I don't know. I mean, I think this review is pretty much in line with how many to expect. This might be a little long. Let's just say, just to keep it simple, and because you really only have 2 days to prepare, you haven't had like a full weekend, let's just say only go up through 11, okay? Just only go up through 11. Those other word problems we won't worry about. I may give you a word problem, something like the Northwest Vista College students going to whatever. I may give you one like that. But otherwise, on this review, just go up to 11. Sound good? I won't do any proportions. No proportions on the test. No fish. All right. Well, that's pretty much it, right? Oh, sign in. We need to do sign in. I'm sorry. Where is that thing? I'll call your names. That might go faster. Just say here, and you can go after that.